So I've made a video about trophy hunting mistakes before, which tells me something. A lot of you are making the same mistakes I did, but since then, I've learned even more. So today, I'm breaking down 5 mistakes, some updated with better examples and some completely new. Mistakes that could save you hundreds of hours if you're paying attention. Because trophy hunting usually doesn't burn you all at once. Bad planning, chasing the wrong platinums, and letting the backlog suck the fun out of your gaming. And the worst part, most of these mistakes feel smart when you're making them. If you're newer to trophies, this is how you can dodge all of this. So let's start with the biggest one that not many hunters talk about, building a backlog instead of rotation. This one was a silent killer. I used to stack games endlessly. I'd get this one done, I'd come back to that one later, I will finish this game. And suddenly I wasn't playing games anymore. I had 12, 15 games sitting on a good 4%, 20%, 80%, even the glorious 0%. And yes, you can delete those games if you have no trophies on. Every time I booted up the PS5, the PS4, PS3, and yes, even sometimes the PS Vita, I felt dread instead of excitement. But here's what changed everything. I stopped building a backlog and I started building a rotation. Now I play 2 to 3 games max at a time, all with different vibes. We have one chill game like a puzzle or a visual novel or just an easy platformer. We have our one main grind, which is, generally an RPG. And then we have one backup game, which is generally for me, a bit of a story game. There's no pressure to finish everything. And there's no backlog monster staring at me while I decide what to play. Here's the payoff. I enjoy games more and generally platinum games faster. And most importantly, I don't dread on turning that console because I don't know what to play. That single change did more for my trophy journey than anything else. And if you want the full system I use, I've got a whole video going through my method, plan, play, and platinum. I'll link it in the description below and at the end. But the backlog problem gets even worse when you make this next mistake, treating DLC like it's an obligation. Here's my rule now. I finish the base game first and DLC comes later. And look, I'll only play the DLC if I actually enjoyed the base game. Early on in my trophy hunting days, I treated DLC like the trophies were mandatory. Like if the game had DLC, I had to do it. Because to me, the platinum was incomplete. And to be honest, that's complete nonsense. DLC is often grindier, sometimes harder, and definitely a bit less polished. Or it's designed to just purely extend playtime of the actual game itself. Now I love Ghost of Tsushima. It's a great game, it's an easy platinum to get, and one that's recommended a lot to beginner trophy hunters. Now when I got that platinum, I felt great. And then I looked at the multiplayer DLC, Legends. Look, it had a completely different vibe to the base game. Tons of grinding moments, co-op requirements. And look, I'm not saying it was bad, but it just didn't vibe with me very well. I remember forcing myself to actually play it and push through it as much as I could. However, I did decide to just let it go. And that's because my rule is simple. If the base platinum didn't leave me wanting more, I skipped the DLC. Because DLC you don't enjoy doesn't add value. It just adds another task that you will resent. Once I stopped forcing myself to play DLC, I found that my backlog was starting to shrink a lot faster. And I started finishing games I actually cared about. But here's where it actually gets trickier, because the next mistake is about what you're actually chasing. Chasing completion percentage instead of enjoyment. Now for way too long, I cared about how my trophy profile looked, instead of caring about how I felt after playing the games. Completion percentage, clean lists, and no ugly unfinished games. So instead of playing what I wanted, I'm playing what I felt like I had to complete. I had to play what made my profile look tidy. And to be honest, that's quite backwards. Look at it this way, the moment you play for numbers instead of enjoyment, you stop gaming and you start accounting. But here's the truth nobody tells you. Your trophy list will never be perfect. Servers shut down, games get delisted. Little Big Planet 3, now obtainable. Anthem, the servers are shutting down next month. There is a way to check this too. If you check PSN profiles using the PSN Plus tool, you'll be able to see dozens and, to be honest, hundreds of unattainable trophies. No matter how good you are at getting through a game, there are these games that just disappear. Never to be platinumed again, they're gone. And once I accepted, maybe for the 5th time, that my trophy list will never be flawless, a massive weight was lifted. And no, I'm not going to start a fresh account to chase perfection. I stopped micromanaging percentages and started to enjoy the hunt again. But enjoyment alone isn't enough, especially if you're walking into traps you didn't see coming. Ignoring trophy roadmaps until it was too late. Now this one hurt. I used to start games completely blind. No guides or roadmap, no missables check, and to be honest, no idea what I was getting myself into. Blind playthroughs are the best way to experience a game. And I'm not saying to study guides from the start of the game all the way to the finish. But the trap is that nothing kills momentum faster than finding out that you've missed a trophy 30 hours into the game and you have to replay another 10 hours just to get it. Or completely worse, you locked yourself out of a trophy entirely. Take something like Crisis Core, Final Fantasy VII Reunion. You finish it, you love it, and you decide that you want that platinum. And then you find out there are hundreds of missions, and many only appear during specific story chapters. You miss the window, and now you're locked out of that trophy. There's no chapter select, there's no way back, and now you're looking at a 20 to 30 hour playback just to mop up what you simply missed. So these days, I do a quick check just to see if there are any missables, any difficulty requirements, or any online trophies that might die soon. I'm not studying spreadsheets, I'm just avoiding those landmines. And the irony is that tiny bit of planning makes games so much more relaxing. And that's generally because I'm not anxious about screwing anything up. Quick side quest. If you want to play games that don't punish you like Crisis Core, I've got a video that goes through some beginner-friendly platinums just for you. Drop a like and I'll leave the link down in the description below. Now, this last mistake. This is the one that almost made me quit. Treating every platinum like it deserves commitment. Early on, I believed this toxic idea. Once I started a game, I had to finish it. Now, I didn't mind if the game was trash or that I was bored or the grind absolutely sucked. I mean, I've already put time into this, so I may as well push through, right? That's how trophy hunting turns quietly into a chore. And look, here's the brutal but honest truth. Not every platinum deserves your time, even if you've already started it. I mean, I spent hours on Blacklight Retribution, hours. And the game does not even have a platinum trophy. I started the game, and even though there was no platinum, I had to get the 100%. I mean, look, it was fun for the first 10 hours, but the other 40 or however long I spent on that game was not. And there are plenty of games like that out there. Now, the mind shift was this. Quitting a platinum isn't a failure. Forcing yourself to finish one is. Now, once I gave myself permission to walk away, everything changed. My completion rate dropped and my enjoyment skyrocketed. And that's the point. Trophy hunting should add to your overall gaming experience, not drain it. So there it is. 5 mistakes that cost me hundreds of hours and almost made me quit trophy hunting. If even one of these hit home, do yourself a favor. Watch my video on how I wasted 500 plus hours on my backlog before learning this system, to enjoying the hunt again whilst breaking down my backlog. And once again, using the plan, play, platinum method. I'll link it on screen and also down in the description. But before you go, which one of these mistakes hit you the hardest? Or which one are you most guilty of? Drop it in the comments. I read every single one. Thanks for tuning in and I'll see you in the next one.